So what did you miss at Jubilee today? Well, what did you miss? Well, you missed some really good music. You missed an anthem that could have been a service in and of itself. We could have just come to church today, heard the anthem, everything's going to be all right, and walked away. It was great. You missed some good jazz today. Um, yeah, it was a good day. But more in keeping of the theme, we read John's Gospel and heard the story of the risen Christ, where he calls from the shore as the apostles were out fishing in that early morning fog. They hear that voice. They're in that state of kind of here, kind of there, not sure what's going on. It's just after the death of Jesus, and in this story, it would seem that they're not aware of the resurrection. This is their moment when they meet the risen Christ. John recognizes the voice. Peter leaps from the boat and swims to the shore and shares fish with Jesus. And Jesus asks him 3 times if he loves him. And 3 times Peter affirms his love for Jesus. Feed my lambs, feed my sheep, Jesus tells him. Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, now has the opportunity to affirm his love, to live into a ministry of love and action. We also heard the story in Acts of Paul's conversion. When he was Saul and persecuting, actually he was doing it legally. So we say persecuting, but the truth is he was arresting blasphemers, Christians, followers of the way, the Jesus followers. He was arresting them for blasphemy, and at the time his name was Saul, and he was on his way to Damascus when a light so bright and a voice coming from that light knocks him from his ass onto his ass and asks, "Why are you persecuting me?" And Saul asks, who is this? And he says that it is I, the risen Christ, the one you persecute. In that moment, Saul was blinded, but led into Damascus, into the home of a stranger, where he is baptized, where he joins a community, enters a faith, and the scales fall from his eyes, and he sees the world anew. We heard those stories today, and I retold those stories as I mixed them with a couple of stories that are perhaps a little more familiar to those of us who have, well, never swum to shore expecting to meet Jesus. Those of us who have never been struck blind and knocked from a donkey. But I told the story of the person who struggles with her faith and wonders if she really believes all the things that she's believed since she was a little girl. But the need to keep it quiet for fear of offending those who believe, or the fear of looking foolish in front of those who don't, and not sure how to live in both worlds, but knowing that in 2016 you do live in both worlds. And I told the story of the man who has a relationship, a family, and it's good, except that he has a secret that he can't share, a hunger, an obsession, an addiction, perhaps. And as all these 4 stories unfold, we come to that moment when the curtain is pulled back, when the voice of God is heard, either aloud or in our hearts, or it just comes to that moment when we can't do this anymore, and we have the chance to step through the curtain. We have the opportunity to seize the invitation to engage. But we don't always do it. Sometimes we stay in the boat. Sometimes we sit on our ass. Sometimes we turn away from that voice, even though we know it's God, because we're not ready or we're afraid to change. But the invitation's there. Saul embraced the new way and became Paul. Peter embraced this way and met Jesus, who changed his life yet again, but also changed the world. And I told the story of Maggie, who decided that her questions should be asked and that she should be authentically herself with her friends in church and outside of church, and discover that faith grows with us. We need not hold on to a faith that we discover when we're about 7 years old. We can grow, and our faith can grow with us. And I told the story of the man who wasn't ready yet to let go, who somehow believed that dead is dead. Relationships can't be resurrected. And so nothing changed for him. That's what I heard in the scriptures today, and that's what was shared, and that's what we celebrated. That in fact, there is this invitation. God does speak to us. And it may not always seem supernatural. Sometimes it's incredibly natural. But whatever it is the voice of God inviting us into life. So that's what you missed at Jubilee today. I really hope we don't miss you next week, because we'd love to see you and we'd love to share with you. But until then, God bless.